babies, direct from the beautiful Inland Blue Studios. Honey, this is the Nerdlife Crisis Podcast with your host, that fine-ass Chris Thayer, that beautiful Steve Hale, and that big hunker chunk of meat, Ron Milts. Woo! Mama's hot up in here. Let's get this party started.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerdlife Crisis Podcast. Here with your host today, Ron Milts. It's end of the year, and we're not doing a new episode for a couple weeks, but we wanted to bring you a little bit of some of our best moments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with Steve Hale, Chris Thayer, and Ron Milts as we give you the best of the Nerdlife Crisis Podcast.
When I was 18 years old, I tried to cook a frozen pizza in the oven on the stop sign and almost gassed myself to death.
That's awesome.
Wait, one more time.
I think the bigger picture is the stolen stop sign.
I need more explanation on what just happened there. Wait, can you tell that again?
When I was 18 years old, it was my first apartment by myself. I had nothing, not even a cookie sheet, and frozen pizza required a cookie sheet. And I was fucking just, making do.
So you stole a stop sign?
I already had the stop sign.
Okay, all right.
That was
I had
the previous offense.
Yeah, so I took my stolen stop sign, and I put it in the oven. And of course, it didn't close, so I just kept the oven open.
Oh, God. Sylvia Plath, party of one.
Yeah, and then, I noticed that the whole house was full of this white, blue tinted smoke, I determined that this was probably poison gas from whatever chemicals were on this sign baking away. I did not eat the pizza.
Well, thank God for
that. I figured that would probably be a bad idea.
All right, so
at least because you had the right reason. It wasn't because it was burned.
When I was younger, we could do a whole segment on stupid shit Steve has done.
I'm definitely there too.
That might be the wraparound for this segment.
If I could fucking zig, I zagged every time. I mean,
what in God's name made you think I need
it was a flat
I'm going to use
I don't know. I was trying to follow the fucking instructions.
Did you?
I needed a flat
surface.
Did
you cook the pizza on the side with paint?
I was thinking that.
Or on the metal side?
On the metal side.
Okay, so at least you had some safety.
Was getting safety first.
Yeah.
Safety first, last, and always, right?
It's a logical conclusion because what did they use to cook the pizzas? It looks like an upside-down stop sign, right?
Yeah. Sure.
It's a flat sheet.
It's a flat.
Sure. Having once worked and an assistant manager at a Little Caesars Pizza, that is not how it works. Just so you guys know. Although their pizza tastes like it was cooked on the stop sign.
Right. Yeah.
Don't get me started on the Little Caesars because that's like the go-to here, and I refuse to eat that nonsense.
I can't eat that shit anymore.
No way will I put that in my body.
I had my fill of it when I was a kid because that's what we could afford.
Yeah.
But now, if somebody says, "Hey, I got Little Caesars," I'll be like, I'm just going to pass.
Yeah, no, I literally, last week, because it's $5 a pizza. Right there's your first clue. If something feeds an entire family is $5, you probably want a second guess. But I took off. I went down and got some El Burrito or something, So, like I said, I refuse to eat it. Even if I have to go out of my way, I was the only one who didn't have it. So I bailed out. I couldn't do it. And that's the go-to for the birthday parties every time.
And they do that at Atlanta school. The parents are
yes.
I'll bring pizza. And it's you always know it's going to be the world's cheapest pizza.
Yes.
And I'm not saying
which you appreciate, but again.
Don't run out and buy Papa John's or something. No. Don't overpay for pizza. But come on, man. Little Caesars.
What is we feeding our kids?
Get me a Costco pizza at the very least, all right? At the very least. That's only $10, and it's bigger and it's got cheese and sauce. And
real cheese.
The other things that you would expect to get on a pizza and not a piece of cardboard cooked with pepperoni,
And have you tried to eat it a second day?
Oh, no.
It's
no.
Oh, man. I mean, normally pizza is kind of, it's better the second time around. You have it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Little Caesars, just throw it away.
Okay. Having worked at Little Caesars.
Even the dogs wouldn't eat it.
You worked there?
I seriously, when I was 19.
Shit, man.
Seriously, I was assistant manager at Little Caesars, and the main manager.
How old were you again?
37.
No, I mean, how old were you then?
19.
19, assistant manager.
18, 19, yeah.
See what it takes to run one of those places?
Oh, man. It don't take
You're letting the fucking
nothing.
19-year-old fucking jock the...
I'm not an idiot. I wasn't an idiot.
I'm a key holder. Remember that? I'm a key holder.
Yeah.
What
I was
the
a key
fuck does
holder.
that mean?
I was a key holder. I was
I
a
hate
holder
that.
for the safe. But I was an assistant manager, which basically meant that I was a glorified. I got like 50 cents more an hour to start with,
and they let you lock the door, basically.
Dude, I seriously think, if I remember correctly, I was making $5.25 an hour, and I was like big pimping, dude.
Living it.
I was, man.
Yep.
Well, minimum wage
an
was
hour.
like $3.35 or something at that point, wasn't
No.
it? It might have been $4.25.
$4.25, and I
Yeah.
was making $1 over that, dude. I was like, the shit.
Oh, I remember when I was making $7 an hour. I was like, dude, we're rolling.
Yeah.
You know?
But
Gas was only 87 cents.
Right.
well, that's in the way back machine there, you know. But yeah, man, like the pizza there is such of a low quality. Like, you get the dough, you get 5 ounces of cheese on your pizza.
Was that the measurement?
5 ounces.
Weights and measures.
And you know how much?
And you still remember this?
I
Fucking
fucking remember all of it. You know how many pepperonis you got on a large pepperoni pizza? 18.
Wow.
18 individual pepperonis came on a large
Do you have
pizza.
to actually count them when you put them
Yeah,
on? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, man, but you know, okay, we were poor in 19, so...
Yeah.
And after...
Yeah, shit.
So, fuck it, man. Like, if one pepperoni didn't make it on and it made it onto the pizza I took home at the end of the night...
I wonder if they individually wrap them by 18s.
We were so broke when I was, 18, living with all the guys in the house. Like, we would date girls who worked at fast food places just so we could eat.
That's brilliant.
Like, I might not necessarily like them, but she works at Burger King.
I can get some Whoppers.
So, after years of doing that, I just can't eat that type of stuff anymore.
And
It
the
just kills
nickname
me.
Whopper Jr. has gone away.
Yeah.
No one calls you that anymore.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, wait, was that a thing? No, you know what's so funny? I think back, and it's like we were so poor. Oh, my God. Like, our rent for our first apartment, like, my roommate was $502.50. And I remember that. It, like, very specific amount.
That's not much.
No, well, and dude, but my half, $251, and I would struggle.
Yeah.
Struggle to
Yeah.
come up. I think $250 now, I'm like, man, I pissed that away at Buffalo Wild Wings,
Yeah.
on beer and
Yep.
BS. But it's like, and we paid $10 extra because it had a fridge. And not like
Yeah.
a good fridge.
So we didn't have a fridge at first, man. We had a fucking ice cooler.
Ice cooler.
Like we had an ice when we first moved in to our first house. It was a 4-bedroom house off of La Sierra. We were paying like $800 a month for this house. We had no furniture. We had no refrigerator. We didn't have beds. And when we moved in, the floors were still wet from when they had cleaned the carpets. We slept on wet floor, but we had a house.
Yeah.
And we would sit there, man, with this radio and listen to Love Lines in the fucking dark. Because
Love
that was
Lines, oh my
entertainment.
God, yeah.
That was the entertainment.
But that was pre.
That was Poor Man and Dr. Drew. Yeah.
When it was Poor Man, I was like, that was pre like even Adam Carolla back in that day for sure.
And we ate, crazy bread because sometimes we couldn't even afford the fucking pizza. It was like we had crazy bread.
Yeah.
And if we had source, it was like, woohoo.
Oh man, man! I lived on leftover pizza for the 6 months I worked at that Little Caesars. I got fired. I was let go.
We
Terminated.
used to hit up Kevin, who worked at Domino's. No, Pizza Hut. Yeah, like, dude, bring us a Bigfoot. Remember the Bigfoot?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
That
Seriously.
was the shit, right?
Well,
For a couple days.
we figured out the system. What you do is you'd get an order and you get a call in because every once in a while you get a call in and then somebody wouldn't come to pick it up.
Yeah.
So what we do is we get like a 2 pizza call in that I'd write up and then we'd post it and no one would ever come and pick it up. And then after a while, and then they would be like, yeah, no problem. Like, just you can take whatever's not sold at the end of the night home. And then at a certain point, I think they kind of knew something was up. Like, that's not why I got canned. I got canned for a completely different reason. But we were smart in that. But it was like, at a certain point, they were like, well, we're counting boxes now, so just throw the pizza out. Yeah, fuck that, dude. I took 2 boxes, and I just, like, would
Bring them back every
bring them
day?
back every time.
See, we palled up with the manager at Kevin's place,
Ziploc
so
bags.
he knew he was taking pizzas home to us. But one time, like Kevin got tired of bringing us food all the time, so man, he took a can of jalapenos and he just strained all the jalapenos out and just poured all the fucking jalapeno juice into the pizza. And holy
Oh my
shit.
God.
And then made the pizza for us and brought it over. We took like one bite and we're like, dude, what? Has this gone bad? What's wrong with this pizza? I mean, this is. I was like, thanks, dude. We're starving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and he pranked you.
it's funny time. Thanks. But yeah, that's. I
You
mean,
still ate it though, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah. I think we smoked more too to just kill the hunger.
My favorite poor story is a friend of ours, and you guys all know Todd, but Todd, we used to go and party at Todd's house, and Todd lived in like his grandfather's old place, and those dumbasses spent all their money on beer and got the electricity shut off.
That's awesome.
So they were like, hey, we're having a party over at our place. And we get there. There's no electricity, no running water.
Wow. But that's how you had parties when you were right out of high school.
Dude, there was candles everywhere. I was like, I got to take a piss. And he's like, oh, everybody, you just go piss on the back fence.
See, we would have parties and tell all the girls that were coming to bring their own toilet paper because that was something that was like, it was fucking rare.
That's the admission.
Yeah,
Make them bring it's like
paper,
a fundraiser with the canned goods.
I wonder though, when I think back, it's like, how did any of us ever meet a girl?
We would have
ever,
a barbecue.
Ever.
We would have a barbecue, and all we were doing was providing the place to have the barbecue.
Yeah.
We had a barbecue, and we had a house. But we didn't have the food. We didn't have the drink. We didn't have the ice. We didn't have the condiments. We would just go ahead and delegate that to everybody who was coming.
Nice.
That's how we had a barbecue.
Nice.
You're right. I have no idea how we got laid at all. All I could say was it had to have been we had the fucking house. Other than that, we had nothing going for us. I mean, it's a house full of guys. We didn't even have a car. I had a skateboard. When I met my wife, I had a skateboard, a backpack, and a fucking lamp. A lamp that I would just carry from place to place.
It's like the jerk. And I'll take this paddleball game.
And this ashtray and this fucking lamp. That's all I need. You know. I mean, but it was cool. I mean, you're 20 years old.
Whatever.
I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to pull that shit now.
No.
You know. I've heard of guys trying to do this and
Simplifying their life. Living naturally.
yeah.
That's called.
Living off the fucking land.
I'm gonna build a fucking trailer out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
It's like
No.
just because you're not in a park, buddy, it doesn't change how you're living.
I mean, what do
all
they
right?
say in Pulp Fiction? You know, without an address and a job and an income, you're a fucking bum.
That's funny.
And when we were young, it was cool. But now, maybe not so much.
Comforts get in the way of.
See, I can't relate to any of this stuff.
Oh, really?
Because I did, my family, my dad was a lawyer. He's still a lawyer. And I don't say that I was spoiled, but I never, wanted. And I think I was ahead of my time because I'm like the kids now. Like, I stayed well into my 20s before I moved out, and I had established, a career.
Were you still living at home, when we met?
Oh, yeah.
And then you moved into that apartment.
But I didn't move out of my parents' house because I was never there.
All right.
I was going to school, and I was doing theater, so I was literally at school 18 hours a day. I only used that as my mailing address and where I slept, and occasionally I ate there. But all of my time was either at work or at school or working at school, so I had 2 or 3 jobs going on. So I never moved out because I didn't really feel like I needed to. I didn't need to get away because I was away all the time. I felt like I was living at the school in a way. So I didn't really have to struggle like that. That's kind of important. But I look at the kids now, even my oldest child, we joke that she ain't never moving out.
Well, it's so hard nowadays.
It is really hard nowadays. But I think it was hard back then too. We were just willing to endure more by our generation, not me.
I think every generation. But I think the other thing is, look at all the shit you got to have today.
True.
I didn't own a cell phone, you guys, until I was 23.
Pager.
And I didn't even want that bullshit.
Yeah.
Matt would
I remember Matt.
Matt Poland would get fucking irate when I had my first cell phone or my first pager.
Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones. That's right. We had a pager first. He'd page me. He goes, I fucking paid you. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. I was doing.
See,
something.
for me, it was just another thing to lose.
Yeah.
And I did.
And it was
I'd
hard
have a
enough holding
pager
on to
and I'd
that
lose
lamp.
That shit. Yeah, right.
You're like
Now I got the
you're
pager
like a
too.
homeless
Hey,
Green
man,
Lantern.
I'm on the
hands.
fucking,
What am I going to do?
I'm
How
on
am I
the
gonna open
move,
the
man. I
doors?
can't be having this
No,
shit,
seriously,
man.
if I'd have seen you, especially because I've seen pictures of you with your frosted tips and your tattoos or your early tattoos, you would have been like a homeless fucking Green Lantern, running around in brightest day, bro, in darkest night. You're like some You're like the worst superhero ever because you're like the Silver Surfer meets Green Lantern on your skateboard. Skating around, fighting crime.
With my lamp.
The Silver Skater.
Fucking extension cord dragging behind me. But at the time I used to think, like, man, it cannot get any fucking worse than this. I mean, there were some times where, like, we didn't know where our next meal was, but we had, like, each other. We were sticking together. Well, it was like a band of...
A Hallmark exclusive.
Yeah.
Steve Hale in Band of Gay Brothers.
On skateboards.
Right.
With a lamp.
I had the skateboard. The rest of those guys were walking. All right.
So you were at least the upper class of the group.
Right. I mean,
you had
I could stand
transportation.
on the fucking skateboard. The other guys they're like, yeah, it's
you
beyond
guys
me.
kind of remind me of like the hierarchy in a Mad Max movie, where it's like dude on the skateboard with the lamp is like the highest level, and then the rest.
I did have the master bedroom with the bathroom.
There you go.
So I was living it like.
Who
the
runs
Jeffersons.
Bartertown, Steve? Who
Right.
runs Bartertown?
I run Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
Ha! One of my all-time favorite stories there. Steve and the stop sign, all the way back from episode 1. All right, let's try out some dumb shit our kids did, all the way back from episode 16. Here we go. Who's got anybody got something they want to talk about with their kids? Any dumb shit your kids have done this week?
I just got a short one, so I can wait if you guys want to. Because I know you both have some really.
I don't, dude.
legit stories.
I'm actually pretty dry this week, so
Yeah, dude.
All right, so again, all roads lead to Darien. We have a new principal at our school finally. None of the staff has met this person, but yet Darien has had the opportunity to meet the brand new principal. So his first experience of meeting anybody from my family, and my wife and I both work at the school.
Has your daughter got sent to the principal's
No,
office?
she goes up and introduces herself as Jane Pearson. What the hell?
Why?
So then the VP who's sitting there like, no, you're not. And then she explains who Darien really is. And then she sees him again today. I've never even met this guy. I don't know what he looks like. I wouldn't know if I saw him in the street. But he knows my family because freaking whack job over here decides she's going to be a goof when she
That's
meets
funny.
the guy. Yeah, it's hilarious. So now, he thinks that we got this nutty kid, which we do.
They're like, it's all Chris and Carrie
hilarious,
Thayer,
dude.
and they're like, oh, they're child.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's that's the beauty
That's
of
rad.
beauty of my world.
We should probably keep an eye on them. The art teacher, he lets a lot of stray dogs in his room too, from what I understand. It stinks of urine, urine and feces.
So bad, dude. So bad.
No, I mean, I don't know that we've had anything. I mean, Ronald Andrew's been actually pretty good recently. I started going to the gym, and our gym has child daycare.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, is he taking it? Because mine love it, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to drag him out of there.
Kids, dude.
yeah.
There's kids there.
You know what? Like, but you see those other kids. There's some kids in there. They're just like they're miserable. You could tell, like, oh, you're gonna have some issues.
Yeah, he loves it.
Not mine.
He could, and then I was like, "Did you play with other kids?" He's all, "No." It's like the stuff that's
It's
in
new
there.
toys.
It's as if, and so now my kid is keeping me going to the gym more than anything at
That's
this point because
right.
he's like, "Daddy, go gym."
That's
to the
funny.
point where we can't even say the word gym around him.
Oh, yeah.
Like we can't say
Yep.
park because
Yep.
he's like, then it becomes obsessive compulsive about the swings
Right,
and whatever.
right.
Yep.
But I can tell my little OCD child is there because the minute I walk in, and I think he is like possibly possessed or Rain Man. I haven't figured it out yet because when I walk in, he has pulled all the trains out of their little drawer that they keep their trains in, and he lines them up. Wow! And then not lined up like oh, here is like some like, oh, I've made a train. No, it's like the train is in order, and then he's built another train, and they're all perfectly spaced. And sometimes they're like there's he does this with his cars too.
Yep.
He'll take all his cars out, Steve. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times when it's like my house looks like a fucking hurricane came through it, like your house. But there are other times when I walk in and I feel like ghosts have been moving shit around the house because it's like everything's perfectly lined up.
Yep.
The Legos are all color coordinated and I'm like, who are you? Like,
See, we're not doing that, dude. Like, they'll line crap up, and then it's just so that they can
destroy it later
Yeah,
on.
they come in like little Godzilla and shit, and they start kicking it, and throwing it, and once again, I'm kind of like, guys, that's kind of cool. I mean, So, but no, I don't have anything this week. They've been kind of.
It's been a boring 2 weeks for me as well.
Yeah,
a week and a half. So I've got nothing that's like epically funny. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, Chewbacca is like a non-plus at our house now.
Yeah.
Like he is an unwanted toy that my child will not even get near since it freaked him out. No, I mean, nothing good. No good falling stories or anything. It's just been sort of, it's been sort of is what it is at this point. He's just.
Well, okay, mine. Well, here it's not a story or nothing, but dude, they do not look where they're fucking running.
No, welcome to. We've been doing that for a while.
I swear to God, like just right before I came here this evening, I'm sitting in the recliner and I got my legs crossed, kind of like I am right now. My foot's sticking out, and one of them comes running by, dude, and runs his head right into the end of my steel-toed boot, dude. And then he looks up at me like, "You fucking kicked me." He's just like, he's got this look of shock. And you're an asshole. You just kicked me. I'm like, you did that, dude. And that's what I said. Dude, you did that. I'm like reasoning with this kid.
Yeah.
Who doesn't understand me. I'm like, you did that. I didn't do that. Honey, I didn't do that. He did that. So now he starts crying and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't kick this kid, man. He ran his head into my boot. And can you imagine like having to go to the emergency room? It's something really like if he broke his nose or something like that. Well, how'd this happen? Well, he ran into the end of my steel-toed boot. Oh, you kicked him? No, I didn't kick him. He ran his head like.
I think
there's something to check.
I think I mentioned last time when Kevin was here about the new laptop that the child broke.
No, I didn't hear this.
Dude, no, I don't remember that.
Okay, so we had a rough 2-day period.
Wow.
Where he came in on Tuesday, and I was like, I'm gonna have some chips and salsa before I have to leave for work.
Yeah.
And I was like, set my chips and salsa down. I was like, oh, that moment where you're like, I gotta pee. I gotta pee. I'm like, okay, don't touch anything. I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. So I left, and when I came back in, he had spilled the salsa everywhere. Oh. Not just and it was it's like in one of those little carniceria. Dude, but not a little bit of it. Looked like fucking Dexter's Kill Room in my in my fireplace room, Steve. It was like a 10x8 area of salsa.
How did that even happen?
I have no idea.
And of course he can't tell you.
No, I'm like, he don't get spanked ever. Yeah. He got an ass whooping for that one.
Oh yeah.
I spent an hour and 45 minutes scrubbing salsa out of our white carpet.
Oh, see,
that's the first mistake there.
My kids already know what the words "pow pow" mean.
Oh yeah, right? Well.
I said, you want to pow pow, and you watch them run across the house. They know they'll hide and shit. They'll hide between the wall and this bookshelf. Think that I can't find their ass.
Well, and then I go, "Do you want to spank?" And he always goes, "No." And I go, "What are you gonna say?" Yes, And then, so 2 days later, so this was Tuesday. My brand new laptop came that day on the day of the spill. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, so I got home that night from work at 11 o'clock, fucking got it installed, all my new shit on it. Yeah. Had it on Wednesday. It's like a 2-in-1 where it detaches and becomes and I was like, this is great because you broke and destroyed my old laptop. Yep. He broke the battery. The screen is ripped off of because he just dropped
God
it. God
damn, Ron, we don't even let the remote control down, dude.
Oh, no. So I have it charged. I'm like, I come downstairs in the morning. I'm going to check my emails. I got some stuff to send out. I send it on the edge of the couch. He's eating. I go to get him. I pick him up. I put him down off his high chair. He runs straight towards it. Oh. And goes to grab it and drops it on the ground and breaks the charging port on it.
Oh. And you said, what the hell was that?
Oh, I lost my fucking mind. And he did not get a spanking for that, but he got put have you ever been, and I grabbed it and I was like, okay, the laptop still works. I'm like, you're just he's crying. I go in the kitchen and I'm like, I pull it out and the plug that goes in the charging port is destroyed. Yeah. And I'm like, oh God, okay, hopefully the charging port's not destroyed, but I can't tell because I don't have a plug that works to plug into this thing. So, but it was that moment when I got so mad. The cast iron
the top of the stove, like the grill thing. I hit it with her saucepan so hard that I dented the stove.
Oh shit! Dude.
Wow,
dude, I was not just like sort of mad or kind of mad.
I've been to that point.
And then I grabbed him and I was like, he is lucky the mailman showed up when he did to deliver something, because I was like looking for something of his to break.
Right? I'll show you.
I was like, "Where's your favorite toy?" And then the mailman came in and he calmed me down just enough, but it was like one of those things where I then was like, I knew it. I was like, I'm too angry. I'm all, "You're going on timeout." So I put him on the couch. And I just left the room. I'm going to leave the room so I calm down. So I went in the other room on my computer and I ordered a new battery cable. I was like, when I'm done with this and I've calmed down, I'll go back in. And I got up and I walked in the other room and I was still furious to check on him. He was fine. And then I finally looked up and it had been like 45 minutes. He'd been on timeout.
Wow.
And I go in.
That's a long timeout.
He had fallen asleep on the couch. And I was like, all right, I felt bad. But then it became like this traumatic experience for like 2 weeks. Yeah. And then, because then it was like everybody we came across, no matter, we'd be at the grocery store. He'd be like, daddy laptop broke daddy laptop, wap-top, spanking. Ronald Andrew cry. I was like, stop looking for sympathy, goddammit. But that point where you're like, I was like, dude, you didn't even get spanked for that one. You got spanked for the salsa 2 days beforehand, you know? But yeah, dude. So then when the new battery came, I felt so bad because he had been like on this trip. Like this kid, either he is milking it or I destroyed him, devastated him. Like it worked. I had to bend some stuff back in and actually take get to the motherboard to get everything reconfigured and working again. But yeah, it worked. And then I was like, "Look, buddy, it works again." And he's like, laptop fixed.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, high five. Thank God my child stopped making me feel bad about like disciplining him." You know,
man, you're a softie. My kid, they'd still be in timeout
right
dude.
Now.
I was not happy with him for a few days.
With our timeout in our house, timeout is a quarantine. You go in the foyer, dude. We'll put your ass in the dark.
You know what's funny?
You'll stay in there and you can scream all you want.
Miss Darian was a hellion when she was little. She was, you remember.
Yes. I'm about ready to turn the closet under the stairs into the Harry Potter closet, dude.
Into the Harry Potter room?
Yeah, dude. So I'll put you in there, man.
She's one of those kids where I used to like to give Lauren chores. You're going to go outside and you're going to pick up the dog crap, and you're going to go out and you're going to pull weeds. And that was hell for Lauren because she's lazy. Darian is like, all right. And she would like totally have something to do. So we figured out the worst punishment for Darian is making her sit still. And this is maybe 7 or 8 years old.
It helps with that, like duct tape or gaff tape. Like that'll keep him still.
Yeah. No comment. So at one point we put her in a chair and she sat there for like 3 hours on timeout.
Oh
like,
my God.
Do not get up out of that chair. And this was like a really, really bad thing that she did. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember it was so bad that we didn't even know what to do. So it's like, you're on timeout like forever. Until you're a teenager, you're sitting in that goddamn chair.
Now she's running around telling the principal she's got a different
Obviously
name.
It didn't work.
We didn't run into that shit with Sid, dude, until she was a teenager. And by that time it was like, we didn't live we didn't have animals and stuff like that or weeds to pull. So we took shit like makeup away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's
and
what
then,
I
work at the cable company. I was like, when I tell you no computer, that means I'll unhook the box, I'll unhook the modem, I'll put it in the trunk, dude. And when I come home, I'll hook it back up.
Yeah.
So there's no like, I'll be sneaking and getting it. I'll be playing with it when they're not around. No, I'll just take it with me, dude. I can whip that out in a minute.
Lauren knows that I'll disable the car if she gives me crap.
Oh, nice.
Because my dad did that stuff too, and I know what he did. So I know how to do it.
Oh, it's not hard to disable the car.
No, and for her, she would never be able to figure out.
All you got to do is take one of the
spark plugs,
or not even a spark plug, dude. If you just go in and where all the come on, brain.
Like the distributor?
No.
Are you going to say a fuse?
Thank you. I was like, the fuse box. You just go and pull one of the fuses out. You pull the starter fuse out, your fucking car will not turn over.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Yeah. It's a little 40 amp fuse. You just pop it and
Well, my kid didn't have a car until she was 18. I was going to buy her that crap. So when she was 18, I was like, well, you're an adult. So
well, it's funny because like I look at it and like I'm way easier on him than my parents, but he's only 2. But it's like my parents were like rough. Like not that we got beaten or anything like that, but it was like no time for fucking around in my house, you know?
No, I got it pretty good a couple times.
I just remember the time that my dad had me pile wood on the side of the house because he always had a pile of fucking wood because, you know, that's what people did apparently in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I'm a kid. I'm a 9-year-old kid and I'm not like, I don't know how to pile wood. You just throw this shit together. And I made like the most haberdash, like ready to tumble pile. And my dad walked over and was like, what? How the hell am I supposed to even get a 2x4? Because I piled like all the like leftover remnant like 1 or 1/4 inch plywood on top. And he like went over and he's like he went to like how like show me how am I supposed to get a plywood? And he pulled one and the fucking whole thing came down. Oh jeez. Like, it was like a Jenga stack. And he was like so mad at me, like he was like gonna throw the piece of wood because it like fell all on top of him, and he tried to kick me like, in the ass, and he couldn't and so he fell onto the pile of wood, and I fucking ran, and I was like,
run really fast.
maybe from now on we just need to do instead of stupid shit our kids do. Just stupid shit we did as a kid.
Oh, we can make that a whole other segment.
Nah, I tell you what, I could spin some yarn about that shit.
Love that dumb shit. It's so weird now because our kids are like so much older than we first did that one. That podcast was 3 years ago. But let's check out this next segment here. A little story about what happened when the boys get swords.
Definitely. You got a purification system?
Nah, we're dead.
I'm sending Chris a list tonight,
you got some problems here, man. Yeah, but you sure got a lot of guitars.
Hell yeah. I'm going to sing for my supper.
Chris will be a minstrel in the apocalypse. Brave Sir Stephen.
Dude, see, what you guys are missing is all of you guys are prepping this stuff. I'm just going to come in and take it with my katanas. You know, we're going to come in like samurai style.
I got these off fucking QVC, Dad. We're going to fuck you up.
Yeah. We're ready.
I had a buddy one time, man. I swear to God, this is a true story. Buddy of mine, man, he orders one of those fucking katanas. This is when we were kids, from like one of those like ninja magazines, you know? Yeah. He loans it to our buddy Kevin. Me and Kevin are standing out of the front yard. We got this piece of wood, like a fucking off a tree. We think we're gonna cut through this thing like a fucking ninja. We hit this branch with this fucking sword, and goddamn thing snaps off, it's flying across the fucking yard. Luckily, it didn't impale anybody. But we were like, you ever see Tommy Boy?
I have.
When he fucked up the door, we went ahead and fucking glued this thing back together.
Oh,
shit. Didn't fucking tell him. This guy comes and pick up his fucking sword. I swear to God, he picks it up. He walks over to the same fucking tree branch and hits that motherfucker and it breaks. And we go, oh man, what'd you do? And then he's looking at it, he's like, oh yeah, it was just put together with like super glue. And we're like, oh fuck. Oh shit, dude.
Now, did he know you guys did it?
No, we never fucking said nothing.
Now, does he listen to the podcast?
No, I haven't talked to him in many, many years.
Oh, that's good. Good for him.
Mike, sorry we broke your fucking sword 26 years ago.
You know somewhere he'll be like, Steve!
He's got it up on his mantle like, son of a bitch. He broke that fucking thing, dude.
I had a show I was directing. I was doing a production of Romeo and Juliet. And we had these brand new fucking fencing swords, you know, and they're designed to be hit hard.
Yeah.
But I tell these guys, I'm like, don't, like, you're not really fighting each other. Like, this is not, like, please make sure, obviously, the fight choreographer, like, we've set this up, like, you know, we've spent lots of money on all this bullshit. Like, you're not supposed to hit hard. I know you guys are super excited about this, but tone it down a little. And so fucking Juliet's dead in her tomb, and Paris is fighting with Romeo, and they're like, tink, 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 tink. And at one point, they fucking slash, and there's a block, and the sword just shatters, dude. Just brand new sword shatters. The rapier edge on this thing flies through the air, and it's all. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, no. Juliet's eyes are closed.
Oh, shit.
This fucker impales in the ground 6 inches from her head, dude.
Oh, my God.
It's like, boom, 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 and we're like, holy fuck. fuck? Like, so hold rehearsal. Run out. And she's like, what?
Wow.
So, yeah, like.
You almost lost Juliet.
Oh my God, dude. It would have been like the most apropos ending to a rehersal ever. So
fucking my buddy Kevin, who I was talking about, he to this day he collects some of this sword shit, and like he'll get drunk on a Saturday night by himself and fucking start ordering this shit on QEC for like all of us for Christmas. And like Christmas, we're all opening up like, oh. Thanks. Got my motherfucking Highlander. It's awesome.
Well, and it's funny because I remember when you're like 19 and the first time you're like, I went to Comic-Con. I was like, I could buy fucking swords here? Holy shit, dude.
We're going to get ninja
It's like
stars.
the South Park kids with their ninja stars.
Fucking sweet.
And so then I get this sword and I'm like, this thing will be awesome. Like we could use it for like, I'm like in my brain going, I could use it in shows and I could do this. And then they realize like, this thing's got a real fucking edge on it. Like I can't use this for anything.
Nope.
I can't fucking carry it anywhere. It can't even be in the back of my car if I get pulled over. We got pulled over once with that sort of shit in the back of my car. Oh my God. You've never seen cops freak more the fuck out. And you're like, sir, we are theatrical players and these are, you know.
You wouldn't believe the shit that's illegal in this fucking state. It's a total bummer, man.
Even if with the soft, even they don't even have sharpened tips, but they're still like, you know, but it's like.
This cop buddy sent me a fucking list of shit that get you a year. And it's like, dude, what a bunch of fucking squares, man. You can't have like you can't have a cane that's a gun like the Penguin.
You can't? That's illegal?
You can't. That's illegal. That's
All right, you guys, we hope you enjoyed this Best of Nerd Life Crisis podcast. This is our first time we've done this, and I just wanted to gather some clips together from some of our best moments in the early days for some of our later listeners that maybe haven't checked out those. But we will be doing another one of these next Friday. And just so you guys know, we will be releasing regular episodes every week for the next year. That is our goal. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'm your host, Steve's Katana Blade, and I'll talk to you later. We hope you're having a Nerd Life Crisis.
Music for the Nerd Life Crisis podcast is provided by Big Papa and the TCB. All music available at bptcb.com or at iTunes. The Nerd Life Crisis is recorded at the Inland Blue Studios. Make sure to subscribe to the Nerd Life Crisis at iTunes and like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Nerd Life Crisis.